Welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Wednesday, June 23rd. I'm your host for today's program, Paul Demain. Many of the stories right here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. Here are the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Martin Reinhardt will join Northern Michigan University's Center for Native American Studies as an assistant professor beginning with the fall 2010 semester. He previously served as the director of the center and now returns as the first tenured track faculty member in Native American Studies. Reinhardt's area of specialization include American Indian education and leadership. He holds a doctorate in educational leadership. During the fall semester, he will teach two courses, the Native American Experience and Michigan and Wisconsin Tribes and Treaties and Current Issues. Reinhardt is an Anishinaabe Ojibwe and citizen of the Sault Ste. Marie tribe of Chippewa. The United Huma Nation's first new chief in more than a decade says the Gulf of Mexico oil spill threatens the tribe's connection with land and water, but should not drive them out. The Courier reports that 54-year-old Thomas Darder Jr. of Huma was sworn in last Saturday to replace Brenda Darder Rabachu, who was principal chief for 13 years and served the maximum terms under the tribal constitution. Darder ran unopposed. He told several hundred people that they may feel overwhelmed by the oil spill and by the hurricane of 2005 and 2008, but should remember that they come from a resilient people. He says he plans to continue seeking federal recognition for the tribe of 17,000 members. The U.S. Department of Labor has announced approximately $67 million in grant funds to 256 organizations, including almost $10 million to 59 grantees in the states of Colorado, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Utah, Wyoming, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, and Nebraska through the Workforce Investment Act Indian and Native American program. These grants will support job training and placement services for adults and at-risk youth. Funding awarded through this competition will support American Indian, Alaskan Native, and Native Hawaiian communities in both the development of their local economies and preparation of workers to meet the needs of promising regional industries, said Secretary Solis. Of the $67 million, approximately $53 million is being awarded to 178 organizations through the Department's Employment and Training Administration's Comprehensive Service Programs for Adults. This program provides quality employment and training services specifically for Native American ages 14 and older who are unemployed, underemployed, and/or low-income individuals. After receiving almost $500,000 in federal funding, the New Mexico Military Institute is offering full-ride scholarships to up to 20 Native American students who are interested in pursuing an associate's degree in criminal justice. Spokesman Carl Hansen said officials from the Roswell School visited with New Mexico Pueblos and were told there's a great need for tribal members trained in law enforcement nowadays. The Native American Law Enforcement Scholarship covers tuition, room and board, books, and other fees for 2 full-year terms at NMMI. The recipient lands a summer internship at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Artesia as well. The New Mexico program also offers a separate scholarship for Native American students worth $2,500 per semester regardless of their area of study. The U.S. Senate confirmed the nomination of Benjamin B. Tucker by unanimous consent to be the new Deputy Director of State, Local, and Tribal Affairs for the Office of the National Drug Control Policy. Mr. Tucker will oversee the High-Intensity Drug Trafficking Areas Program, Drug-Free Communities National Youth Anti-Drug Media Campaign, and Counter-Drug Technology Assessment Center. Mr. Tucker brings 40 years of broad experience in both law enforcement and criminal justice from New York City and the Washington, D.C. area. A nice-sized crowd gathered at the Ho-Chunk Gaming facility in Wisconsin, Dells, Wisconsin, on June 21st for the ribbon-cutting ceremony during the donation of a disaster shelter trailer to the American Red Cross. 4 counties in south central Wisconsin will benefit from this new trailer for a response to mass-scale disaster in Adams, Columbia, Juneau, and Sauk counties. American Red Cross is among the first ones on the scene to help with shelter, food, and other immediate assistance. The total donation came to a little bit over $6,000 for this particular project. In keeping with Ho-Chunk tradition, the ribbon-cutting ceremony had Ho-Chunk Nation tribal members present to conduct and partake in the entire ceremony. Lead transportation supervisor for the Ho-Chunk Nation Gaming at Wisconsin Dells, Elliott Funmaker Sr. was the master of ceremonies for the event, while Joseph White Eagle offered the prayer on behalf of his father and tribal elder Morgan White Eagle. The Winnebago Sons, led by the lead singer Cameron Greendeer, Carlisle Greendeer, Kurt Greendeer, and assisted by Heath Littlejohn, sang the welcome song and closing song for the ceremony. Following a speech by Mr. Mooney in accepting the trailer, the ribbon was cut by Tom Mooney and Thundercloud, Ho-Chunk Nation Public Relations Officer. Ho-Chunk is also a disaster relief partner through their annual donation of $2,500 in the donation of 5 rooms for up to 5 nights stay at their hotel per year as needed as a disaster headquarters, and allowing the first responders to utilize their convention center as a disaster headquarters if needed by setting up a central command center. This brings Ho-Chunk's total commitment to over $12,000. And the makers of the film Everybody Loves Whales have started auditions in Alaska. The Anchorage Daily News reports auditions were held over the weekend in Anchorage, Alaska for the role of a Nupiaq boy and a native elder whaling captain. The Universal Pictures movie has a $30 million budget and begins filming this fall in Anchorage and Barrow. It tells the story of a 1988 attempt to rescue 3 whales trapped in ice near Barrow. News of the movie have stirred Hollywood dreams and would-be actors across Alaska. More than 1,000 people showed up or have emailed and called in hopes of winning speaking parts or extra work, said Deborah Schilt, one of the 2 Alaska casting directors. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank you all for joining with us. Come back again soon. Miigwech.